and now you can ask anything, any query, any doubt. So any query, anything you want to ask? Anything from the quizzes that was sent back? Yes, Vikram, you are trying to say something?
No, sir.
Mute yourself. Yeah, Raman. Yes.
Sir,
Yes,
in
Raman.
quiz CD, which was returned today, there was one question unmarked. Neither the right answer is mentioned nor the wrong answer.
Is it like that?
Yes, sir, in question number 2.
Yes, sir.
Acha, which one?
Sir, in quiz 5 CD.
5 CD. Okay. Maybe I don't know. Then I have to check. Maybe I have not mentioned the right answer there. Let me just once see.
Okay, sir.
5 5 CD. No?
Yes, sir.
Number 2.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No right answer has been marked actually. So in the form itself, I have not chosen any right answer. Surprisingly, it taken the form without giving me any warning there. So it is the relationship between G and A matrices. In the case of discretization of continuous time, SPR is as below. So this you all know, right? G equals to e to the power of A capital T.
Yes, sir.
So that would be the answer. Okay. Any other thing? So let me see. Someone has sent a message. Okay, this is regarding tutorial. So I will answer him personally. He has some doubts in tutorial. So anything else here? Any doubt in the discrete time lectures? Discrete time uh, in itself is a very huge topic. We have only covered a bit. So actually in this advanced control systems course, um, the way the course syllabus has been laid down, we cannot go very deep into any of the topics. So I decided to go a bit deep in the mathematics at least, so that in future if any such modern control problem appears to you, you will be able to at least understand the mathematics, and with that understanding you will be able to explore it further, because all modern control systems are laid down in the state space representation, and it is based on the linear algebra that we have talked about a lot in this course. And these ideas which are coming now of controllability and observability, these are very important ideas. These are very fundamental ideas. So all the very fundamental ideas about the advanced control systems are actually laid down in this course. The people who are actually interested in exploring control systems further down in their life would be benefited actually with this course, and those who have a inclination towards mathematics. Okay, I don't say that I understand a lot of mathematics, but it is very interesting to me, and at least some part I understand, and every new day, or every not a daily, I get new understanding, but I keep on understanding more and more of mathematics, and it really is very inspiring to me as I learn more of the maths and understand how it actually relates to real life situations or real life problems, how most of the things we see around us can be represented using the mathematics, especially this linear algebra. Actually, this is the maths of geometry, basically geometry and space and transformations, all these things. So anything else? Yeah. So is there, if there is nothing to discuss from your side, then I will carry on with something that we had been discussing last week. So there were some questions which were given by Shivam and Ayush. So let me see if I can talk something about those things. So there are two very interesting questions. One is about negative energy, positive energy, and these things, and another is why living form holds more importance than the non-living entities. This is really a very interesting question. I used to ponder about it a lot um, when I was also of your age, or maybe even younger than that, and why human lives have such high regards. I cannot say that I have been able to get some answer which is so I have some understanding of my own, so it might find appreciation with you or may not find appreciation, but let me see how I can lay down things. But before that, so there are two very distinct different types of questions here. So Ayush was asking about if I believe in ghosts or negative spirits. Okay, so I guess that he's also categorizing ghosts as negative spirits. So ghosts or negative spirits, never seen such thing. So I have also never seen such things. People have tales and stories related to it. And if I believe in God, and because if so, he is saying that, sir, do you believe in God? Because if negative energy don't exist, how can we comment on positive energy? So I have not even said that negative energy does not exist, positive energy does not exist. So anyway, so these are different questions which comes in our minds. So let us look into the question a bit thoroughly, because it reveals a lot of understanding about ourselves and the confusion in which we live, that actually gets reflected in the question. Also, there is some inherent understanding in us, something we inherently know. I had discussed about this before also, that there is a body for expression, there is a body of thinking which is the mental body, and there is a body which inherently knows about how things are working, that is coming from very deep within. So that in each one of us is same, so that knowing is same. However, not all of us are able to work from that level of knowing. However, many a times in our expressions and in how we speak or how we try to form sentence, this sort of inherent understandings reveal themselves. So if we observe ourselves also, there is a lot of knowledge to be gained from these things. So all our confusion as well as our inherent understanding gets revealed. So here if I see that in one place, you see Ayush has said that negative spirits. So he has used the word spirit, and in the last line he has used the word energy. So in one place he has used the word spirit, in another place he has used the word energy, and how he has framed the sentence, it seems that God is a form of energy, is a positive energy. God is positive energy, and perhaps he is saying that ghosts are negative energy. So now here I would like to ask that why two different words? Because you are trying to mean the same thing perhaps, but you have used two different words. One is spirit and one is energy. Are they the same thing? They are not exactly the same thing. This you know inherently, and that's why you have used two different words. Okay, some conversations have come, yeah, no, they are different, yes. So they are different things, and that's why you have used two different words. So you know inherently they are different things, you have used two different words, but you are trying to mean the same thing. So inherent knowledge is there, but outward confusion is there. This is what is happening to each one of us. All of us go through this stage. There is some inherent understanding which is basically subdued or covered up in all very different, covered by this all the interactions we are doing with the world. So it is, there is one single word which is used in Vedic philosophies which is called Maya. So the inherent knowledge is covered by Maya, that is what we can say, and Maya is all that is out there. Actually everything is Maya. So Maya is covering this inherent knowledge within us, which we know about. Many things we know inherently, but when we are expressing, there is confusion because Maya is giving rise to this confusion and the delusion. So now when you look back, you will be able to understand that yes, they are two different things, because energy itself, energy, if I ask you what is energy, we know what is energy. There are so many different energy we know about. You think about physics, all physics knows is about energy, and that is all the energy that we also know about. We also know about there are energy, something that can make us work, that something that can transform itself. These things are energy. Okay, but are all energies having life in them? That is the another question now. Are all energies having life in them? So I am energy, but I am also life, like you guys are. But you have, so this is a bottle, this is also energy, but this is not life, right? Life as we know what life is, as we know life is. So there is something different, although both all these things are energy. Between living and non-living things there is a difference. that difference we can call as something. So you just have an idea or have a concept that difference is life. Between living things and non-living things there is a difference which is life. It is a sort of self actuation that happens when there is a life, there is life inside something. There is a sort of self actuation that happens, and that actuation has a boundary. So my actuation, the actuation that I am able to do, does not cross this boundary which I have, and that is why more so I have an idea of where exactly my boundaries are, correct. You will find that when you are driving a car or a bike or something, you will start feeling, when you are driving for long enough, you will start feeling that your boundary has increased to the boundaries of that car. The greater the wherever you are able to actuate, it seems that you are extended in that portion. It feels in that way. It feels in that way. So that thing which actuates us, that gives us also the feeling of being me, that feeling of I, that sense of I. And wherever it is able to influence, wherever that sense is able to influence, it automatically has a sense that wherever it is able to influence, whichever thing it is able to influence, it becomes that, as if. So if that thing is not able to influence this body or able to actuate this body becomes just like a non-living object, just as everything is there around us. That life thing is not able to actuate this body anymore. This life thing is basically what we call as spirit. It is different from energy in that. So energy is there everywhere, but spirit is not there everywhere, or spirit is not activated everywhere. We can say in this way, spirit is not activated everywhere. Wherever spirit is activated, there we recognize some living feature or living phenomenon we recognize. Now it is also true that the spirit cannot get activated everywhere. Usually that is what we are seeing. Spirit can get activated whenever the energy form has a certain uh, favorable condition. The energy form has a certain favorable condition, then only the spirit can get activated in that form and express itself. Then the spirit has an expression through that energy form. And normally the energy forms that we see around us in which a spirit can get activated are these organic structures or organic energy or organic matters which which come together to form this sort of very complex organic structures. In that the spirit can do some activity, starting from very small microorganic like microorganisms to this complex form of human body, or very large animals also. There are whales and elephants. The spirit can activate these types of energy structures. In this way we can see the world. Other energy structures are also lying around us. Rocks are there, water is there, so many things, soil, etc., and all these things that we are manufacturing, all these artificial objects. But these energy forms are not conducive for spirit to dwell inside that form. This is as per the spiritual philosophy I am talking about. Many people believe that this actuation comes after this form is obtained. However, the spiritual philosophy says that the spirit is there. It requires this sort of a structure to inhabit and then actuate it. Otherwise, the spirit is there everywhere, but it is unable to express itself because of lack of conducive environment or conducive energy structure. When it finds the conducive energy structure, then it will inhabit that and it will express itself. So, if we believe in that manner, in that mode of argument, then we can clearly distinguish between energy and spirit, and we have a natural distinction made between these two. Very inherently within us, we know that these two things are very different. Energy alone cannot be spirit. Spirit is something different than energy, something which can control energy, something which can make use of this energy to express itself, to express something which it has. The spirit also has something which the energy will not have. The energy itself will not have anything it desires to express. No, the energy does not have any desirable expression. It only behaves in the way it is meant to behave. It is not good, it is not bad, it is not positive, it is not negative. Electrical energy is like electrical energy. What is positive or negative about it? There is nothing positive or negative about it. Gravitational energy is like gravitational energy. We know how it works. That's all. This way it is working. So would you term it as positive or negative? No. But when you will jump off a high-rise building, obviously gravitational energy will be negative for you, because you will fall on the ground and you will die. Okay. But it works that way. You know it works that way. So you can now utilize it or not utilize it. It is up to you. Once we came to understand how electricity works, we have come to utilize it. We have not come to we are utilizing it in order to make our lives better. But if we also know that if you directly go on to interact with electrical energy, you will receive a shock and you will die. You are not able to withstand that high amount of energy. Your physical body will not sustain, and once the physical body will not sustain, what will happen is basically the spirit will not be able to inhabit it anymore. There the spirit will leave this body, and this body will die. Your spirit will not die. The spiritual philosophy says that the spirit is undead. Basically, you all know the term undead probably. Spirit is undead. It remains. It was there always. It will be there always. It will only change body to body. But if you are able to now distinguish between energy and spirit, now you can look into the properties of spirit, what the spirit holds which the energy does not hold. The spirit holds the desire to express. The spirit holds the desire to express, and it needs some conducive energy structure in order to do that. That is how it works. So now those desires, here actually you may give a judgment that those desires are good or those desires are bad. So if the desire is to harm something or harm someone, then we can term it as bad. But if the desire is to do something which no one is getting affected with, then let that desire be fulfilled. Why not? So there is this is how you may term something good or bad. Otherwise, terming something good or bad does not make any sense for me at least, because everyone has their own set of desires. Everyone has their own perspective of what is right and what is wrong, how to live and how not to live. So my perspective is that unless you are harming anyone, any living form, because that living form has something extra than only energy, so we should respect that additional thing, because that additional thing is what also makes me what I am, makes you what you are. That is the same additional thing which is the spirit. So unless I am trying to harm another spirit's expression, then I am fine. If I am doing something which is harming the expression of another spirit, then that is not fine. I only work in these two, right and wrong uh, modalities. I do not impress on any other thing that this is right and this is wrong. I only try to judge from this perspective. This makes everything very simple. So when we talk in that manner, now if you look in the questions, then when you say negative spirits, I hope you also know that negative means that it is trying to harm something, harm someone. So, and positive energy, which I am sure now you mean positive spirits or this sort of thing, then they will try to help someone or uh, be benevolent to someone. So that spirit has these qualities, of course, because it has a desire. It can desire anything. It can desire harm also. It can desire benevolence also. It can desire lot of things. Whatever it can desire, the desire is endless. There is so many different types of desires we don't even know. We cannot even imagine. So it is a limitless pool of desires, and one doesn't know what desire one has within him or her. But when you talk about God, how God is defined is the ultimate cause of everything. Ultimate cause of everything. Then, and that cause is present everywhere also. No one has attached any idea of benevolence, goodness, these things with God in our philosophy, in the Vedic philosophy. It is only assigned as the ultimate cause of everything. Working on this definition, when people worked on this definition, philosophers worked on this definition, then philosophers found that unless there is a inherent benevolence or an attitude of love and an attitude of grace, this creation would not be possible. Hence, since God created everything, the nature of benevolence, grace, etc., were associated with God. But those are only the nature which is associated with God, but not God himself. So when God is trying to express himself as this entire creation, then he requires uh, those mm, those attitude of love, of grace, this and that, all the different various positive attributes that we can imagine. With the help of those positive attributes, the world is created. However, once created, in this creation, negative attributes have also come, and that is also coming from that same source. That one has to remember. The God is not good or bad. God is only the cause. How these different types of attributes are coming, why not only goodness, how badness is also coming, these also have their own logic, or the reasons are there behind them. When we understand all these reasons, then we would be able to work with them and align ourselves with the positive side of the creation. And when we are going towards the positive side of the creation, we are slowly moving towards those positive attributes which we have assigned to God at the time of creation. So when trying to create, then he has to possess these attributes. Otherwise, creation is not possible. This is done with a very simple logic. This philosophy comes from very simple logic. Whenever you are trying to create something, you will find that you are invested with that creation with a lot of love, lot of positive effort, and a lot of good intention. Otherwise, you will not be able to create that. But once that is created, and if it has a life of its own, in a way that maybe it has some function to do, so it will start doing that function. While doing that function, you will not have any hand on it anymore, right? It will do its function, it will get weared down, teared down, it will become bad, perhaps it will need perhaps repair. All these different things will come into picture. So that degradation is a part of the natural process. That degradation happens to everything, even to God's creation also. This degradation, the attribute of degradation is also coming from God. Not just creation, degradation is also coming. Otherwise, things would only be created, they would not get destroyed. But our observation is that everything takes a birth and then dies down. Be it living, be it non-living, it doesn't matter. Of course, if we come to realize that we are spirits and we are undead, then you would realize that only our body will die down, but that spirit will not die. So this is how actually we can distinguish a bit from what we are trying to call as God and what we are trying to call as positive and negative spirits or energies as such. Okay, they are not energies, they are spirits, because the desire, the intentions comes from our spirit. Then there is a level of energy through which we execute those desires. And there are so many levels you can understand, so many different levels of creation. If only there was energy, then no question would also come, because there would not be anything which will be able to ask any question. Only if only energy is there. The only energy world is not a living world, as we know life is. There is no spirit inside anything, in only the energy part of the world. It is a conglomeration of only those non-living objects, and that is actually termed as jad. Jad बोलते हैं, जड़ पदार्थ, जड़ पदार्थ होते हैं. So it is, everything is jad padarth. In some of those jad padarth, some spirit is inhabited. That spirit part is known as chetan padarth. Chetan, jad and chetan. So that chetana is introduced in some of those conglomeration of jad padarth. So there are two different, if you look at the world now, you will be able to distinguish or categorize it in two different parts. There is a total jad thing, and there is also some bubbles of consciousness. Chetan is also consciousness, some bubbles of consciousness inhabiting some parts of those jad world. That when that consciousness comes, it comes with a body, and then one has to understand how exactly consciousness works. So there is also another like another classification one can do, what is there in this spirit body. And that classification even you can do. You look what is there, what is there in a dog, you try to understand. What is there in you try to understand. What is there in an earthworm, you try to understand. Everything has that spirit, what it is trying to do, and what you have more than the other, what you have better than the other. These things you will be able to understand if you observe the world carefully. Everything comes from observation. Why the living form holds more importance than the non-living entities? Here actually now we can come to the answer of this question. We have something more. This we have established so far. Every living entity has something additional than non-living entity, which is the ability to express itself through obviously an otherwise non-living object. So unless the spirit resides within these non-living objects, it is non-living. We have seen dead living organisms. I don't know, at this age probably you have also witnessed death in your family. So we have seen how death happens. A perfectly living creature was there doing all the activities that we are also able to do, and suddenly after a while it is unable to do anything. So it's as if that whatever was able to do that function with that body has left that body for some reason or another. So this is the difference between living and non-living beings as per our philosophy goes, our spiritual philosophy goes, is that there is this spirit inside us, and that spirit has a total makeup. The spirit has a total makeup, and that makeup, in that makeup of the spirit, the makeup of the human spirit is observed to have much greater impact or much greater value, you can say, or much richer makeup is there in the human spirit than other organisms' spirits. If you will look at different organisms, you might appreciate this. Of course, you might say that something is better in some other organism, not in humans, yes, but overall the human makeup is far richer and far enhanced than other organisms' spiritual makeup. Does it depend on the spirit? You will ask now, because थोड़ी देर पहले, just some time ago, I just remarked one thing, and that is very often you will find this remark everywhere, that the spirit is same in each one of us. The spirit is same in each one of us. So how I can claim that the spiritual makeup is far richer in human beings than another animal, a cat or a dog? The spirit is same. Yes, the spirit is same, but the expression of that spirit, that is what actually identifies it or makes it recognized to other such spirits around it, or the expressions of the spirit or the bodies the spirits hold, like you and your friends. They will see me, they will see someone else, and they will see many other people, some other animals, and readily recognize that the expressions that they can give are widely different. That difference arises from the fact of the environment that the spirit is living in, or the body that the spirit possesses. The spirit possesses the body, and the body has its own limitations. So the spirit will be able to only express up to those limitations, not beyond that. And here comes the very great significance of the human form, because the expression of the human form, we don't know where it ends. It may be limitless. So there is limitless possibility, limitless potential in the human form. That's why it is regarded as the most important living form that you or us as a spirit can possibly reside in. This is the greatest chance given to the spirit, or greatest chance that the spirit has to express itself. Expression is not just its own desires expression, but also to understand the phenomenon that is happening around us. Other forms are unable to exercise their desires as well as able to understand the world with so much intensity and so much richness that we are able to do. This is very clear if you observe any other animal. They are very limited. And that apparent limitlessness has been, our structure is able to gather because of a very important organ that is within this structure, which has a highest form of development in the human form, which is our brain and our nervous system. It is very well developed within us, not so much developed or in so much activation in other animals. That is what I have come. I am not a biologist, but this is the generally people know this, I think. And we are only using, how much percentage of our brain normally, average people? only 1% or 10%, I don't remember the figure, but it is very small. So people who have actually discovered a lot of hidden truths about the universe, the philosophers, the scientists, the physicists, they are supposed to use, they were said to use just a bit fraction more than the average human being's usage of brain, and with that only they were able to reveal the truth. So if we enhance if our activity of brain activity, probably our spiritual expression or the knowledge that the spirit can gather can also be enhanced. And that was one of the attitude of the ancient scholars or the rishis, whom we call rishis. This was the attitude of the rishis, and they tried to enhance their physical form in some way so that they are able to grasp the knowledge. And they had laid down many techniques for to do that, which combinedly come together as something called yoga. And you have, all of us have heard that this term yoga. Some of us may be also practicing some of it. So yoga has the potential to take our form, the human form, to some level of attenuation where we will be able to attune to receiving knowledge and expressing our potential capability in the way that we are supposed to, being in the human form. So a lot of talk on this. I guess both the questions, queries had been covered here. Actually, one needs to, when one goes in this path or one tries to understand this path, knowledge will come to you. Knowledge will come to you if you are inclined, and you will start seeing things very different. You will start seeing various, you will be able to distinguish between various levels of existence, various bodies that we are having. So all these different all these different distinguishing will enable you to also gather knowledge from the observed world more intently or more correctly. Someone has asked about some Z transform, Rahul. Yes, so let me see that, because also this topic is I have talked whatever I had in my mind. So let me see what he is saying. Z transform of any signal is associated with a region of convergence. Yes, it is associated with a region of convergence, because all Z transform is basically an integration. So if the integration does not converge, then in that region where it does not converge, that integration has no meaning. So it has to converge. So in that particular region where it is converging, the meaning of Z transform holds, otherwise it does not hold. One has to find that region of convergence. For different functions, the region of convergence will be different. One or two I have told in the lecture videos, but all will have a region of convergence. In some it may be the entire space, okay, but in general it will be a subset of the entire space. Okay, so a lot of ideas today we discussed, and it was good to see that quite a few of you, around 40 people, stayed with it. Hopefully this will trigger something in your mind. So I am not expecting a very uh, outward right away a change in your way of looking at the world, but one needs to understand that things can be seen differently, and then one has to decide how to continue seeing things. So that is a choice that one has to make, and that depends on their own understanding of which one to go with. You can also utilize it. It's our own utilization. I use sometimes this way of looking at the world, sometimes I use that way of looking at the world, whichever is appropriate at some appropriate time. That is the thing. But this is quite fascinating actually. The philosophies that we have in which describe our creation, describe us, how we are linked to it. So those philosophies are quite astounding, and if we think on those things, it seems that they are, so you will not, they are infallible in their logic actually, but you have to rely on the axioms. So even a mathematical system is basically a logic system. Mathematical system is basically a system of logic expressed with some symbols, etc. So we can do some concrete manipulations there. So it depends, any mathematical system depends on a set of axioms which we believe in. Those axioms we will never question. So here also there are axioms, and then the system of logic is infallible, but you have to believe in that axiom, then only you will be able to understand the whole thing. Other things are described with the help of the logic system. So anyway, so so it is only 5 minutes more, so I think we can end the session now. Thank you for your time and your attention. So okay, so I will end the meeting now. Thank you.